Good morning, all. Myself, Dr. Sunil Alexander. I am the Secretary of the SmartCity branch. Welcome you all to the 6th CD of SmartCity branch by Dr. Anisa Patel Sheikh. I welcome you, ma'am. Dr. Deepak, can you please introduce the speaker?
Okay, sir. Thank you. A very good morning to all and welcome to the 6th CD program conducted by IDS Smart City. I'm very happy to introduce the speaker for the day, Dr. Anisa Patel Sheikh. Dr. Anisa, also popularly called Anisa, your social dentist, has done a master's in dental business from DBM Academy, UK. She is certified in digital marketing and social media marketing and also is a certified storyteller. She is extremely passionate about the topic of marketing, branding, and social media in dentistry and has conducted several lectures and publications on the same. She has been a keynote speaker at various conferences, including the prestigious World Dental Show, International Leadership Congress, and the FAMDEN Show, to name a few. She has been awarded as the most passionate dentist twice in the past 3 years. She is the winner of the most promising upcoming marketing genius of the year at the DBM Awards. She has recently been recognized by the Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai as a COVID warrior for her outstanding contribution for COVID patients at the NESCO Jumbo facility by raising funds through her programs. She conducts her own workshops on the subject, both classroom style and online, and has positively impacted several dentists in the process. Ma'am, I welcome you for today's talk, and we are expecting a great session. And I'm also welcoming people from all over India. We have a lot of participants from Mumbai, Delhi, etc. And also, I thank the members of the Smart City. This time, I think a lot of members from Smart City also have come up. We have a good strength now. And we welcome you, ma'am, for the program, expecting a great session.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you, Dr. Deepak Thomas and Dr. Sunil and the entire team of IDS Smart City for having me. It's an honor. Thank you so much. So I think we have good people joined in. I can see 26 participants are in. So I think if everybody is ready, we can begin, or we have anybody who wants to share something. If you want to ask anything which you want to particularly get out of this webinar, then please put that in the chat. Otherwise, I have certain things planned out for this session, and I shall then start sharing the screen and starting the presentation.
We will start with the session now.
Great.
Hope to listen to the story of how to make dentistry, how to market dentistry in a great way or an ethical way, more likely.
Yes, just 1 minute. I need to close the chat. A minute. Yeah. Okay, so before I start sharing the screen, thank you for that warm introduction. This is Anisa, and today's session, we are going to be talking how we will amplify our word of mouth in the online world. So we all know that the way dentistry works, it's a very different profession as compared to the others. And we work in a very intimate area of a person's body, which is a very vulnerable area, and that's the oral cavity. And for anyone to allow them to work in their oral cavity, there's a lot of trust involved. And we know for a fact that no matter, what we try to put ourselves or do any kind of marketing, we know all the senior practitioners, I'm sure, will agree that word of mouth has been and will be the strongest form of marketing or getting the patients in, right? And so today's session is going to be exactly how we are going to amplify our word of mouth, how to build an organic presence without spending any money on paid advertising, and how to actually build a brand. We'll be seeing how things have worked for me, and we'll be seeing how we can apply this into our profession and into dentistry and the way things have changed. We know for a fact that since past almost more than a year now, we are, I think, in the second or the third phase of lockdown now, and we have seen a massive shift in the way we communicate. And even the people who have never been on any kind of social media are now feeling the need to get on these platforms, because the world has changed. We know that the world has changed in the way we communicate. And so with this, let me start sharing the screen. Just let me know if my screen is visible. Is the slide visible?
Yes, doctor.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, so as we can see in this picture, I think we all would agree that never have we communicated in a way that we are communicating now. We very much knew about this way of communication, but the past 1 year has taught us, or rather compelled us, to communicate to our our friends, our family, our patients, and to the world out there in this manner, right? I'm sure IDA Smart City would have conducted more online sessions than offline sessions in the past 1 year, right? And all of us, we have gotten to know words like Zoom. Zoom has acquired a new meaning, I'm sure, all of us, right? And so even right from our kids who are now learning through a phone or through a screen since almost a year now, we have attended funerals, birthday parties, we have attended everything from a screen. And so it's time that we understand that we will need to change our mode of communication, because for a simple fact that any habit to form or to be integrated takes 66 days, by the way. And so it's been obviously more than that time. And so the way people are communicating is changing. And so we need to change the way we reach our patients and the way we pass our message. And that's why if you see in the slide, the way people make decisions regarding anything that you are trying to sell to them, or anything that you are trying to want to put your word out there, whether it's through the written word, whether it's through the television screen, or whether it's through the radio, it's the basic method of how you reach a human being and to touch that person in a way that that person is transformed to do the thing, or to to do the thing that you want them to do, whether it's reading an ad or trying a new product or anything. It's the basic method is the same, but the communication mode has changed. So previously, long time ago, when we never had the TV complex or the radio or nothing, the way we used to exchange information was through the newspaper, right? And if you would want anything to be known to the outside world, the only way of doing it was through a newspaper or through an article, or through what was known as the yellow pages, which is totally gone now, right? And so that was a way of reaching people. Then in the 80s and the 70s, when we grew up, I'm sure a lot of people will relate, we were born in the TV complex. So when these brands were made, the only way to get yourself out there was through the TV. And I remember I have grown up on these ads, where we used to have only 1 or 2 channels, and we used to, watch these ads, and that's how we knew those products, right? We still remember some of these taglines, Onida, neighbors, and we own a Sprite. So many like that we remember, and that's how brands were made. And then before that, of course, the radio came. And then something happened. The internet and social media then came, and then the way a brand was made changed completely. Because what happened was, suddenly the consumer had a lot of power in making or breaking a brand, or rather in spreading the word about a new product or service. And so today's consumer has all the has all the power to go out there and to write a review or to talk about an experience that that person had, which was previously not there. So now the whole paradigm of marketing has shifted, and a lot of people who are they have become personal brands or things like that. That's only because of the way they have leveraged the consumer. Okay. And so today it's a level playing field. Anybody who is good enough and who is able to get the result, or be able to satisfy the needs of the end consumer, is now today the king of the market. I think everybody will agree. So the gatekeepers have gone. which were these advertised companies and this big banner ad companies and TV ads, that all have gone, and now it's a level playing field. And so in today's era, if you really know the art of putting yourself out there to tell the correct stories to reach the correct audience, you will be able to make your mark. That said, it's also a very noisy world. We are living in a current information overwhelm, and I think we all will agree that we are in a huge information overwhelm. And so what is marketing at the core of it? So, well, marketing is nothing but storytelling. Marketing is nothing but relationship building. It's being able to tell your story in a way that it transforms the end consumer, or in our case, our patients, so that they are able to put trust in us and actually come to us rather than we going and selling ourselves to them. And so today, as I say, the word of mouth, especially post-COVID, has now become the word of mouse. And so a lot of us who have never been into the online space have only solely relied on the traditional mode of spreading our message through the word of mouth, are now understanding the importance of these new channels. And so let us see how we can actually use the power of good storytelling, good way of putting yourself out there and building an organic brand, and building your story so that you can reach the correct people. So, well, if anybody has heard about Seth Godin, he's supposed to be the one of the biggest names in the marketing world, and he says this very beautifully, that marketing is actually no longer about the stuff that you make; it's about the stories that you tell. So with this, before I actually get into the real content, because it's all about stories, and it's a huge part of this whole thing, which we talk about branding and all, let me talk a bit about myself. So my story, because it's about storytelling, I thought a lot of people ask me, what is this unique name of your social dentist? And I'll tell you the backstory behind that name. Okay. So I don't know if you guys can spot me in this picture. This picture is way back from 1999, where I was in my second VDS. That's me here. And I was actually never like this. What you see me, I had never any guts to talk in front of a crowd or even speak up. Okay, I was a huge introvert till college. So I don't think a lot of people even would remember me. A lot of teachers would even remember me. But yeah, that was me. And I was a very studious student. I have been a topper, and I was the typical, front bencher, sitting and making notes and not talking much. I was that person. And I passed out in 2003, 2002. And then I was really wanting to do my master's. But that time, instead of doing, master's in dental surgery, I became MDS, or a married dental surgeon. And that's when I met my husband, Dr. Shoaib. So that's I was very keen on masters. It didn't get masters, and somehow, obviously, marriage happened, kids happened. We started a practice together, and but that thing was always there, that I wanted to do some kind of further learning. And all this while, me being a very right brain person, I was attracted to a lot of things. So during this time, I somewhere had learned just for a hobby. I had learned graphic design, and I had learned Photoshop, a bit of it, just like a hobby. And I had actually designed some dental posters. And when I look back at my journey, I realized that that was my first, my first exposure to any kind of anything which was remotely related to marketing. Okay, so maybe that kind of desire or that interest was there since then. And that time, my good friend Dr. Ajay Bajaj, he was my senior. So we're from the same college, and he was, giving his post-graduation exams when I was in internship, and I got friendly with him, and of course we kept in touch afterwards. And he actually, if any of you know, he runs a company known as Bombay Dental and Surgical. And that time, obviously, it was in the initial parts, and he had put a stall in Famden, and there, he told me that you're making very beautiful posters. Why don't you just take a small table in my stall and, sell these posters? And I jumped at the opportunity, actually. And that was my first stint at ever doing anything related to this. And to my surprise, it was a huge response we got. And we sold more than 1,000 posters in that particular conference. And I was very happy, but then I didn't understand how to kind of take this further. It was just there like a side passion, or hobby, or whatever you say. And I did this, and every poster which I made, because I was a dentist, I could make it according to what the patients would resonate with. And every poster had a story, and I made like almost 35 designs, and with different aspects of dentistry, and we ended up selling them. And then I did a lot of crazy stuff in between. I was also attracted to storytelling. I went on storytelling courses. I really didn't know where I was going, but I had this keen interest, and I used to apply all these things in my own practice. So I had a lot of passion for pediatric dentistry, and I used to apply all these creative things to treat kids, to get them to sit on the chair, to run some creative campaigns in my clinic. And I used to do this stuff informally. And I had a lot of, a lot of my consultants who used to come to consult, like the oral surgeon, the orthodontist and all, they used to ask me, like, that whenever we come to your clinic, there's some new thing that you are doing, and we really like it. So I was always interested, and but I kind of didn't understand how to lead that path and how to kind of make anything out of it. But then, as you say, the universe comes together, and I was always, very much interested in pediatric dentistry. Somewhere then I started doing only pediatric dentistry, and to date, I only exclusively do pediatric dentistry now. 3 days a week I do pediatric dentistry. That's all I do now. And I was at that time doing a little bit of general and more of pediatric, and then I shifted my focus. And then I realized that the best thing that I loved about pediatric dentistry was the creativity that I would put into it, and the behavior management and all of that. And I, of course, did some learning in that. And then finally, as they say, the universe comes together. I heard this course about dental business masters, which was in 2017 by a good friend, Dr. Aslam Inamdar. I'm sure you guys must be knowing. He's a digital dentist, popularly known as. So he introduced me to this course, and then I went on this course, and then I took a formal training in the business aspect of dentistry. And this course had actually 4 modules, and the module which I implemented maximum was the marketing module. And I'm very indebted to my mentors. And there I met Chris Barrow, who is the leading marketing coach in the UK. And I started following him, and I was, learning, I was teaching, as well as I was kind of implementing all of that in my practice. That year, I went to win the Marketing Genius of the Award at the DBM Awards. And from that, I kind of got a direction. So right from 2017 to 20, I was on various courses and various places where I was actually doing teaching as well as implementing. And then one thing led to another, and that's the picture on the left side where you see that's Dr. Sandesh Mayakar, who had inaugurated my good friend Dr. Aarti Daswani. She was doing was launching her academy, and I did my first offline course along with her. And at that time, actually, I was not interested in any offline course, to be very honest, because we are like 2 people, me and my husband, and we don't have much family support with 2 kids. So we didn't want like 2 people running around. So I didn't want to travel for offline courses. And I always wanted it to be online only. And then had a couple of opportunities. I was very lucky to get a lot of speaking opportunities, and spoke at the World Dental Show, spoke at FamDent and stuff like that, and was constantly learning. I did a lot of online batches. And then, as we know, last March, the world changed. And this picture is actually just on 8th March, which was International Women's Day. And after that, soon after this course, we know that the world changed. And that's when I got the time to actually sit and work on this part, which I really was interested. And that was my website and the thing that I was doing. I got all the time because the lockdown happened for 2-3 months. The clinic was shut. Got a lot of time to work on this, and that's the time I did a lot of. I launched my website, and I started a lot of these online courses, and ended up doing almost 12 batches of these courses, right? And that's my story basically. And then another thing which happened, which I'd like to share here, is something which I did, which was just out of, one day I was like doing an online course, and the entire proceeds of that course were going to charity, and it was a fundraiser. And that's when I got the idea of doing a fundraiser for myself. And I approached my mentors, Dr. Rajiv Verma sir, and I approached my another mentor, Dr. Manish, and Dr. Bhavdeep also was there. And we four of us, we joined hands to do this program, which was a huge success. And 100% funds of this program went to COVID patients at the NESCO Jumbo facility. I didn't know anybody over there except for Neela Mandade ma'am, who was my ma'am in my college. And so I thought of doing this fundraiser. I'm especially mentioning this because somehow I feel that in my journey, the Bounce Back program was a turning point. So because of this program, I got to know a lot of people. I came in touch with a lot of new people, new collaborations, new friendship, and a lot more opportunities. So this was my story in short. And I really didn't know at that time that I would ever get felicitated for this. It was a very big surprise when I got a call from ma'am saying that, there's a small program, please come in. And actually, when I realized it was not small, it was a pretty huge program. And so that time when I did this, of course, I had no idea. And I, of course, did it with an open heart. But I'm very happy in the way things have turned. So just before I start, when I look at my own journey, what were the things that really helped me? If I just see in the past 1-2 years, whenever I'm able to do, what were my own personal learnings? So my own learnings, I realized, was that being an introvert, I never had the guts or the passion or the the heart to actually go out there and talk, or even talk to a stage. But I realized that we need not be all famous, but we all can be great, because greatness actually it depends upon your service, right? So if you have a heart to serve, and if you are having the passion to give what you are having to the world, then success comes to you. Okay, and we automatically get the passion. So I realized that service plus significance, if you can bring significance to your service, then success, I promise, will come to you. Another thing which I realized was, it was not a thing of 2 years. I was very much interested in marketing for a very long time. In fact, I've read most of the books on the subject. So I wouldn't say 10,000 hours rule, but yes, if you see anything, it all boils down to that number of hours which you give to a particular area of interest, right? Also, I realized that if you align your purpose and you find it, you will be able to, understand your true calling and be able to follow it. Also, I was always myself. I always gave 100% to anything which I got as an opportunity. And I always I did the small things really well. So my message to you is that no matter how small a thing, whether there is an audience of 5 or there's an audience of 500, I'm the same when I'm presenting. Or for that matter, whether there's, it's a VIP patient or it's a poor patient, the level of service remains the same. So I think that is a very big learning which I have learned from my mentors, and I would like to, pay it forward, that no matter how small a thing, give it your best, give it your 100%. And I always gave that. And of course, you need to take care of your own self. And actually, this applies very well to the online world. I'm sure a lot of people are overwhelmed, right? And when you are on social media, when you want to actually, put yourself out there, when you are actively marketing yourself or your clinic or your, your brand, that sometimes it is very overwhelming because there's a lot of information overwhelm. And so sometimes you need to actually step back. You need to shut out actually sometimes, and you need to switch off, right? And if you need to do that, by all means do that, because you really can't pour from an empty cup. And so from time to time, I go on a digital detox where I just shut down everything and kind of go inward. I purposely put this because I would like to say that it can be overwhelming, and sometimes you need to, kind of unplug to actually connect. So let's see, what is the ROI? What is the ROI of this whole thing of, branding, social media, and all of that? So, well, if you consider the ROI, if you're using social media as a broadcasting tool, just to say how good you are, and if you're not bringing any value to the world, and if you are not having connections and conversations, and you're not building relationships, okay, then of course there is no ROI. It is very similar to the ROI which is there in the offline world. So if you're only talking to people when you want to sell them something, obviously they're not going to connect with you. But if you're genuinely connecting with people to build relationships without all the time thinking of something which is going to benefit you, then obviously you will get an ROI. And that works in the online space as well. So I always say use social media like a telephone, which is a two-way connection, rather than a television, which is just broadcasting yourself. Okay. So the day you start using social media like a telephone rather than a television, I promise you, friends, you will have an ROI of it. Okay. And so let's see because it's still relevant. We are still in partial stages of lockdown and stuff. Let's see what are the do's and don'ts that we need to follow, right? Also, one important thing which I really like this slide, and I always put this in all my presentation, is that you really need to understand that, you know, it's marketing is actually, it's like love marriage and arranged marriage. So all the things that you did, right, from love to marriage is actually your marketing. And well, the actual marriage is just the sales. And you cannot make a sale unless you do the other part, right? So you need to romance your audience, you need to do the marketing before you ask for any sale. Okay. And so let's see, how do we do that? So we need to, as leaders, in the times that we are in, we need to show leadership, we need to show empathy and support. Now, how are we going to do that? Sometimes you might not be always selling through your channels. You might just want to go out there and give information, educate your audience. You would want to show that you're a thought leader, the go-to dentist in your community, right? You can do online collaborations with other doctors, with other people from your vicinity, to bring a lot of value. So what we did in the lockdown is we tied up with few people like mental health people, few orthopedics and all of that, wherein people were at home, obviously they were depressed, some people, they stopped exercising, they had no way in which they could move around. So all these pain points which people had, we kind of collaborated with these people, and we did some online sessions, and our patients, they really appreciated that, because although we were not actively selling, we were always building that communication, that relationship building, and that probably served us when we are opened after 6 months. So 6 months after that, when we opened up and everything's all got normal, obviously we had so many people who wanted to get back and finish their dental work. So in that time, instead of just going in our shell and not communicating at all with our people, it's better that you have an excellent opportunity to put yourself out there and develop your authority, at the same time genuinely help people, right? And always put content which is very relevant to your audience, which is helping them solve the pain point, right? Show up for them as well in terms of quantity as well as quality. Now, what do I mean when I say quantity? So show up often, even if it's just once a week. Okay, make sure that it is consistent. And also, when you do show up once a week, make sure that there is enough quality. So make sure that you give value to your audience, right? Also, of course, relentless social media connections behind the scenes. Always show the human side of what you are, because trust me, people know you as a person. When they make a decision to work with you, it is always not only what you do, but overall as what is your personality. And social media and the online world gives you an excellent opportunity to actually put yourself out there, right? And so few things which you can do is you can show how safe is your practice through your content, and we'll see some ways of how to do it. Some of the don'ts are, of course, when the market is very sensitive, when people are in pain, obviously it's common sense that you shouldn't be selling at that time, right? So stop sending promotional and automated messages, especially when you are in that stage of lockdown. And of course, unsubscribe for any memberships which currently do not serve you. And really, at the end of it, I always say this, forget about B2C and B2B marketing. It's all about H to H, and that is human to human connection. If you really understand this one aspect of going out there and putting yourself out there, trust me, this whole thing starts working for you. So let's see now, how does this thing of social media actually work for you? So, well, I always say these 6 C's, if you do these 6 C's correctly, whether it's your social media pages or whether it's anything that you're putting in the online world, if you get this 6 C's correctly, then your social media actually starts working for you. Okay. So let's see these 6 C's. Well, the first one is actually content, right? And as I said, there's a lot of emotional overwhelm. There's a lot of information overwhelm, and there's a lot of overwhelm. And so we need to understand as to when you put out any content, first of all, make the content which is easily digestible. So do not give a lot of information and do not overwhelm your audience. Make it into a bite-sized, easily consumable content. Make it eye-catchy, make it something which will make people stop scrolling and look at your content. So just don't put content for the heck of it. Make sure that it is quality content, and make sure that it is emotionally engaging and it's shareable content. Means somebody would want to share that content. Okay, that's what you want to make. Okay, and of course it has to add a lot of value, whether it's in terms of educating them, informing them, whether it's entertaining them, or whether it's inspiring them. And if you can do all three together, then trust me, you will rock. Okay, now the second point is the customer or the patient. So instead of talking about yourself, if you can talk about what is in it for them, then trust me, it starts working for you. So whether it's a patient story, it's a patient case study, or it's a patient case, or even if it's just a selfie with the patient where you're talking about the patient, that works much better than you talking about your own self, right? Also, when you talk about the patient, make sure that you have taken a written consent of what you are of taking permission from that patient, so that you can put the story of that patient in the online space. Also remember that when you write a post on social media or when you write a blog, keep it in a very conversational style. So let it be very conversational, so that you are talking to somebody and it connects with people, right? Also remember that you need to understand where is your target audience. So where the people are consuming your content. Are they really on Instagram or are they just on WhatsApp? You need to understand this thing about your patients so that you are concentrating your efforts to reach the right people. Okay, and sometimes these patients are not on Facebook or Instagram and they might be only on WhatsApp, and then it's a good idea to just do a WhatsApp campaign. Okay, so you need to understand where your people are in the online and the offline world, and then build a target persona, target audience persona, and then work backwards towards your content strategy, content plan, and how you're going to do it. Okay, and I'm going to go through all of this. But when I actually do my programs, we actually do this real time. So we build a real time target audience. We get all these questions. We do all this, and then we kind of make a customized program which is there for your own target market, which is there for your own demographics and psychographics of your target audience. And that's very important because every practice is different, and every target audience is different, every market is different, and you need to understand your patients, your demographics, your psychographics, and of course what you are good at and what service you can give. Okay, so these things are very important. Plus, when you are putting out content in any form, remember to show the connect, to connect with your people and to show the culture of your practice, to show the culture, to show your personality, because they can get all the information. They can get the information about how to do a root canal from Google or from YouTube. When they come on your social media pages, they want to know how you do it, or what are you about, or what is your team about, or how doing a root canal at Geo Clinic looks like. And that's what you want to show them, right? So in fact, our seniors, they never got this chance to actually showcase themselves the way we have opportunities. Right now, we have opportunities to portray ourselves, whether it's through a 15-second Instagram reel, or whether it's to a 30-second video, or a Instagram post, or a Facebook video, or even a YouTube video. The way we can tell a story in few seconds, our seniors never had that chance. They only and only relied on word of mouth. But now, because the word of mouth has got amplified in the online space, we suddenly have a lot of opportunities to show the people what we actually do. And trust me, if you put the correct content, if you put the correct storytelling and the correct messaging and the correct form of content, by the time these people walk in your practice, they have already checked you out. They know you, they like you, they trust you. They're already sold out. They are just come and they now directly want to start treatment. So that's the big advantage of social media. I feel it's a huge conversion tool for your practice. It's not only a huge marketing tool, it's also a huge conversion tool if you use it correctly. And trust me, I have seen it in my own practice. I do not have any formal degree in pediatric dentistry. However, by the time the child comes to me, they are already sold. I mean, I just have to start the treatment. And I'm sure a lot of my colleagues are also using this, and trust me, it really works. Also, one of the most important things is, of course, to remain consistent, whether you're doing once a week, whether you're doing daily, whether you're doing thrice a week, or whether you're doing once in 15 days, whatever you're doing. make sure that whichever channel you choose, whichever medium you choose, that you are very consistent, okay? Because once you start regularly showing up, your audience is going to wait for your post, okay? So now let's see one example where this is very beautifully done. If you see the slide, in this one post, all the 6 C's are very beautifully explained. And that is, if you see the content is it informative? Yes. Is it entertaining? Look at the patient's face. Is it inspiring? Yes. And what is it talking about? Actually, this content is talking about the scanner, right? That the patient is going to get rid of impressions. There is no slide where the dentist is showing off with the scanner, like how we generally do, right? When we buy a new scanner, we go to Facebook and we put a nice picture of that scanner with us, right? Nothing wrong in that. But I'm just trying to tell you that patient here is obviously interested in what is in it for them. And so if you can actually portray that, so the pain point of people is to get that messy impression. And this one post is explaining in a very entertaining way how they have solved the pain point of the patient by getting rid of the impressions and making it all digital, okay? So that was the content, the customer. Look at the third C, which was conversation. Look at the way it has been written. Do you like impressions? We don't think so. And that is again an open-ended question. So conversation has been taken care of. Look at the channel. It's a Facebook. It's a perfect place for storytelling, and it's a perfect place to put a link, because unlike Instagram, Facebook gives you a place where you can directly link, and they have linked their blog where they have explained in detail about their scanner, right? So this one post is good because it explains all the C's in a very beautiful manner. I'll share some examples of what I have done. So we did a lot of these giveaways wherein we tied up with local businesses in the community, and we did these campaigns over 5 days. And we did these Facebook lives, and we actually did this, okay? And a few things which we did in the lockdown were a lot of these collaborations, partnering with these local businesses, some entertaining videos. I do make some videos with my daughter as well, if you've been following me. So I'm not saying that one method is better than the other. Whatever works for you, whatever resonates with you, go ahead and experiment all that, right? Again, the kind of post which really entertain, which really connect, which will really make someone understand what you are about, what your team is about, what is your practice about. That's the kind of content which has to go on social media. So this is, I think, one of our consultants who was also on a community program, and that's why we put this post. Again, look at this, collage of the different things that we do. If you're doing a CE program, explain them how they are going to get the benefit of you doing that program, right? That's very important. So even when we were in lockdown, simple things like this, slides like this, it can be a small post which can be entertaining. At the same time, it connects. It's very relevant to the times, okay? So simple posts like this also do very well if they are very relevant to what is happening in the world, okay? So vaccination happened. So when the vaccination happened, I did a small funny thing with my kids. So I'm just telling you that whenever you make content, make sure that it is very relevant to what is happening, right? And this actually, if any of you is following Amul butter, they do it beautifully. Every post which they make is very trending to whatever is happening in the market, and that is something which I take back from that particular brand, and that is to stay very relevant to what's happening in the market. So these are the few posts which we could do, okay? Another thing which we did was we did a lot of these lives where we actually connected, when we shared information, we educated our people. I also did some storytelling sessions with some other storytellers, and that was really very entertaining for the little ones. So a few things that we did. As I said, context is very, very important. So when you are actually doing something, understand the context of the platform as well, and understand the context of the market as well. So what do I mean when I say context? People say content is king, but actually it's the context, right? Whichever social media platform you are on. So if you are on Facebook, the same thing that you will be saying is going to be in this manner. I like donuts, but if you're on Instagram, there's going to be a vintage photo of my donut. So this slide beautifully explains how the same message is different for a different platform. So if I'm on LinkedIn, I don't want to listen to any beautiful, funny stories of your child, because I'm there for business and I want to get straight to business. So the way I'm going to write a LinkedIn post is going to be very different from how I write the same post on Facebook. Okay. And that's why you need to have content which is very relevant to the platform. okay, as well as very relevant to the market emotions at that time. So if the market is, in a severe state of lockdown and people are in survival mode, you really can't be selling at that time. And if you're selling, then you're insensitive. So this is what I really want you to understand, to take back, that the context of your content is very, very important. Okay. So we will see a few things now. So actually, there's a lot. And so I don't want to overwhelm you with so much of information, but just few things. So Instagram, if you see, it's a very visual platform. It's a very casual platform. People are now making reels which are funny and, very catchy. And you can do really informal stuff on Instagram. So if you are a very creative person, if you like putting yourself out there, there is a staff member in your clinic who's very creative and, who likes making these entertaining things, then Instagram is definitely a very good platform, because the platform is very quirky and you can afford to be really informal on that platform. Okay. So do not sell a lot on Instagram. Instagram is more for behind the scenes kind of stuff, behind the scenes, and, very emotional, engaging stuff. Of course, hashtags and all are very important on Instagram. This was a very old one. Now I have, of course, the followers and all have increased, but just to make you understand the way your cover picture is, the way your bio looks, all these things. Okay. There is a lot to this. In fact, in the whole 1 month training, which is currently going on, it ends on 15th of June. There's a current batch going on. We actually have every day where we do this one thing. So one day we are only working on the bio, one day we are only working on the Instagram feed, one day we are only working on the hashtags. There's a lot of information. That said, a lot of this information is there on my YouTube channel. So if you are interested, go and check out the YouTube videos where I have shared a lot of these things on different topics on different days. Okay. So just to put it in a precise manner, your bio is important. Your stories, which can get then converted as highlights, is important. The way you put your feed out is important. And few tips over here are that your Instagram bio, which is this, okay, this thing over here, okay, I don't know if my cursor can go, yeah, this part, okay, that's the place which is only clickable on Instagram, meaning you must have seen these places where they say link in bio. What does that mean is that if you want someone to click on a website or a link, then that's the only place where they can click. Because unlike Facebook, you cannot really put a comment wherein you post a link. Instagram doesn't allow that. And so if you really want your Instagram people to go somewhere, to join a WhatsApp group or to send you a message or anything, then you need to put that, you have to link it in your bio. Okay, so remember this about Instagram. Authenticity works beautifully well on Instagram. You really need to show behind the scenes kind of stuff. Your hashtags matter a lot. And of course, your engagement is very important as far as Instagram is concerned. Few brands which are really good and which you can learn from are, one of the favorite brands of mine is Starbucks, and they really put out very good content. Okay, in fact, there is a whole story of these brand stories which I have done on my Facebook group. Some of you are members, Let's Get Social, and that has the all the stories. There are around 45 minutes stories, I think 30 to 35 minutes stories on all these big brands, about Amazon, Apple, Starbucks, Airbnb, all of these brands, exactly how they became the brands and what they are doing, which makes them these brands. Okay, so I won't go in the details, but if you guys are interested in these particular brands, then go on that Facebook group and send me, I'll add you in, and then you can see those. Okay, these are some of the things which you can plan up and do. So before after pictures, short video clip, behind the scenes, all of these things are ideas which you can do on different days on Instagram. So you can have like a motivational Monday, then you can have like a throwback Thursday. Different days you can do different things. A lot of things can be done as far as Instagram is concerned. Some of the top Instagram accounts of these very big accounts which are there, we have millions of followers. These are some of the dentists. You can just go and check out their profiles, and then you will understand that what kind of content does really well on a platform like Instagram. Okay, so Dr. Matt Sarrow and Dr. Rubinston, these are some of the top guys. Also Dr. Appa, if you people are following. These guys, they really put out content which really works well on Instagram. Okay, now let us see when this thing starts working. So when you say, I always say that when this triangle is in sync, that's when social media starts working for you. So what you say you do, okay, and what you are actually doing. So basically, when you say that you are a cosmetic dentist, that's your branding. And when you do cosmetic dentistry, that is when you are doing what you're doing. And then of course, at the top of the triangle is what the people are saying. Okay, what are the testimonials saying? So only when these three things are in sync, your website and your social media starts working for you. What do I mean is that there are some people who are doing general dentistry, but if you go on their websites, it says cosmetic dentist, aesthetic dentist, and then they expect the content to work for them. So if I'm a potential patient, if I'm checking out the social media pages and the website, I want to be looking at, if say for example, I am the target audience, I want to be looking at patient stories who are like me, whose life you have changed through your dentistry. So you would be better off putting your own patient stories and your ideal patient stories rather than putting stock pictures or putting pictures of you know foreigners and stuff on your website. So if you are putting things that what you actually do, what you say you do, and of course, if that is what the reviews are talking about, then trust me, this starts working for you. Okay, so what are the key points? You need to educate through your content, entertain through your content, of course, inspire. Also, one very important thing which I'd like to explain to you guys is that it's very overwhelming. And so you don't want to give a lot of information. Make sure that you break your content into native micro content. What do I mean when I say native micro content? Native means very native to the platform. So if I'm on Instagram, then I would want to be more visual. If I'm on Facebook, I can afford to write big lines or big captions. So that's still storytelling kind of content. If I'm on LinkedIn, I want to be more professional. So that is native. What is native to that platform? That you need to understand. And micro content means break that content into micro content. So if you have some, say, 5 tips of something, you would be making like 5 small 1-minute videos. That would do much better than a 20-minute video about that same content, because nobody is going to consume that long video. Okay. So always be authentic, of course, be you, do you. That's one of the very important things as far as personal branding is concerned. Show your personality. Always say this. Use personal branding, which is nothing but using your personal Facebook and Instagram profiles and all your personal profiles to reach out to people, because Facebook pages are business pages, and Mark Zuckerberg actually has made sure that the organic reach is very less. So unless you do paid advertising, unless you do paid marketing, your Facebook page is not going to be seen by a lot of people. And so the best way to leverage your personal brand is to use your personal profile. Okay, and I'll show you some examples. If you are interested, I will actually share my screen live and show you some examples of personal branding through social media. Okay, so now build relationships, very important, as I already said. There's no need to be perfect. We always wait for that perfect time to do a video or to do any piece of content, and that actually stops us from doing the content in the first place, isn't it? How many times have you guys thought of making a YouTube channel or thought of doing a reel and you never ended up posting it because you wanted it to be perfect? And so my biggest message to you guys is don't be perfect, because perfection sometimes is the enemy. Progress, not perfection, as I always say to all my challengers and all my course participants, is that just get it going. Okay, so very important. Also, every time, don't sit and try to create content. You need to start documenting. So you have ample opportunities in your own practice where you can document the content. You can actually if you're, say, for example, doing some sterilization, just take a 15-second video of the behind the scenes and you'll be able to have a small piece of a reel or something. You don't always have to sit and shoot videos. You can just take the document the content, document what is already happening in your clinic, and you have the content ready. Okay, so that's what I mean. What do I mean when I say perfect content? Is perfect heart and brain of the content. So your targeting has to be good, means whom you're putting the content out, that particular thing has to be correct, as well as the content itself has to be good. So if my content doesn't touch the heart of my target audience, they are not going to see it only, even if my targeting is correct. And if my content is very good, but I'm not putting it out to the correct people, obviously it's not going to work. So it has to have both. Okay, excuse me. So also video and live streaming, what we are doing right now, live streaming is very is the future. Okay, and a few years back we never had that kind of bandwidth. Okay, now all the data plans, all the mobile companies and all, we have huge data plans. So we have more than 2 GB of data which you get every day, which was not previously the case. And so all these social channels, they are constantly pushing live content. The algorithm favors live content. And so if you are as a person who's very shy of live video and Facebook live and all, then you should become uncomfortable and actually put yourself out there. In fact, I have a whole training where we actually train these introverts to actually put a self out there and get used to Facebook lives. Okay, Anyways, also use a lot of Instagram stories and Facebook stories to reach out to people, okay, because these are the people who are already following you, and they already know you, and they want a sneak peek into what you're doing. So you would be giving them what is happening, and they will know, like, trust you better if you put a very interesting and curious stories on this Facebook and Instagram. Okay, now what not to do, I already said. Don't sell, no broadcasting, no selling, no stock pictures. Stock pictures are these pictures which are taken from the internet, basically. No open wounds. Okay, so when we talk about open wounds, we might love the implant that we have done, the beautiful implant that we have done, but trust me, that blood-stained slide of yours, people, the general crowd doesn't correlate, okay, and they actually find it very disgusting. So remember to restrict your cases which are purely dental to these dental groups, okay, which are there on Facebook and other places. And as far as for your general people is concerned, stay away from blood and open wounds. Also, nothing without consent. Never put the same content on all the channels. Never forget to respond or reply back. Very, very important. So if someone has actually gone and commented, please be kind enough to reply. Okay. Never buy likes or followers. And there's a whole video which I've done on this on my YouTube channel, and all of these topics I have done videos. So you guys can go and check it out if you have more interest. But just to brief you, there's no need to buy likes and followers, because your engagement drops down, because those purchased followers are not going to connect to your content, and then the algorithm stops showing your content even to the people who are following you. So don't do that. Do not spam or tag without informing. Now let's see in short about how an ideal website should be. Okay, so of course, it has to be. Now what we try to do as dentists, we want to put everything on our websites. And then if you see, most websites are very cluttered. And if you have a very cluttered website, people don't know where to look, okay? And if you confuse people, trust me, they will leave, okay? So if you give them information overwhelmed, instead of taking action, that person is going to leave your website. So make sure that it's very uncluttered, and it is very, it's very soothing to the eye. It has to be fast loading. That is very important, because nobody has the patience. Beyond 2-3 seconds, nobody has the patience to wait for your website to load. So make sure that it's loading fast. It's not cluttered. Very important is that most of the people will be looking at your website not from a computer but from a mobile phone. We all know that, right? So make it mobile friendly. Also remember that when you put your contact number, when you're making your website, ask your developer that when the person clicks on the contact number, that person should directly be taken to the phone book. Means it has to be clickable. I don't want to sit and copy your contact number and then call you. I don't have that patience as a patient. Okay. So I want to have a clickable number where it directly opens in my phone book. These are very small things, but they are very important. Okay. Also make sure that it's very patient friendly. So when a potential patient is looking at your website, he should see people like him going through the treatment that you're offering, not people who he can't relate with. So if you're in a demographics which does not have a lot of these celebrity clients, then it makes no sense of you putting celebrity smiles on your page, right? Also try to put real pictures and show the culture in a story form, which I always say. Also have a blog which is active, which you are posting frequently, so that your your content looks fresh, and it also signals Google that this website is an active website. Okay, so now let's see some of the 6 proven strategies of how to actually increase new patients, because at the end of the day, I know a lot of people want to know how do we actually increase new patients, right? So these are 6 strategies which have really worked for me and for the people whom I have worked with these strategies. Okay, now the strategy number 1 is actually to partner with local businesses in your community. In fact, we did 2 programs where we actually had participants do this in real time. So we asked them to go and tie up with local businesses and then do campaigns with them. Now the problem is that right now the market is not very conducive to this kind of thing, but once the COVID is completely gone and it completely settles down, then you could try this strategy and it really works. So what we do is we basically whatever target audience you are having and the local businesses in your community has, they are similar, and then you could partner with these businesses like another clinic, like a skin clinic, or another doctor in the vicinity, like a physician or some imaging center, or even a spa or salon, and then have a mutual benefit which will benefit both the clients, their clients also, and your patients as well. Also, I cannot concentrate or talk more about Google My Business. I'm sure you people know Google My Business is a very big part of your marketing as far as your organic is going. Okay, so I do not do any Google ads, but every week I have at least 6 to 7 patients who come purely from the Google My Business page. Okay, and treat your Google My Business page really well. Make sure that you completely fill in all the details, right? Fill in all the details, put up pictures, put your contact number, and it also gives you the ability to post, like how you post on Facebook. At least once in a week or once in 10 days, you should post something on your Google My Business. Okay. So also, of course, your Google reviews are very important. Try to get as many Google reviews as possible from your patients. Another thing which you should do is when you do any campaign, make sure that you have an online as well as an offline component to the same campaign. Okay, so that's when this whole thing of these online campaigns, they start working. If they have an offline component to it, then it kind of snowballs the effect of your online efforts. Okay, then of course the patient experience itself is very important, because obviously once the patient walks in, whatever he has seen or read about you on your website or on your social media, on your newsletters, in your blogs, in your Instagram, Facebook, he has to have a similar experience when he comes to your clinic. So, giving that patient that experience is very, very important, because if you say that you are, giving a very good experience, then obviously they expect that kind of thing. Also, another thing which has really worked for me is this thing, which I call the coffee table culture book, which is nothing but a very well-crafted book which sits in the waiting room, and it has information about your practice, about the culture, your team, the cases that you do, and we'll see some examples. Okay, and of course a very strong referral system and the end of treatment protocol, which I'll share soon. Right, so the first one was the local My Business partnerships, which I already explained. So these are some of the things which you can go out and reach out to communities which are very aligned to what your target audience is. Okay, these are some of the things which we have done. And of course, I said about the Google My Business. Make sure that you really leverage Google My Business. Okay, in fact, I'm going to come up with a whole maybe 2-day or 3-day this on Google My Business, because it's really important. And if there's one thing which you would want to do in the online space as far as your marketing is concerned, one of the very important thing is to set up your Google My Business. Okay, now we all know that getting people to give reviews is not easy. Okay, and so the best hack, actually, if you also think about yourself, it's actually, whenever you get a service, either it's very good, either you are blown away by the service, or you are completely put off by the service. That's when you go and put a review. Anything in between, people will not give you a review, trust me. So obviously you need to wow them so much with your service that they themselves will go and write a review, or at least when you tell them, they will do it for you. Okay, so that's the biggest hack of taking a review from a patient, is that give them such a wow experience that they will be almost obliged to give you a review. Okay, so I always say there are only two types of patients who will give you the review. The one is the very angry patient who is completely put off by what you did, and then one is the patient who's completely blown away by the service that you have given. Obviously, we want to be in the category of the patient being completely floored away with your service. So make sure that you do that and give them a wow experience. Another very important thing about reviews is, I always say this to all my participants, is that ask and you shall receive. Okay, and the 80-20 rule applies to the reviews as well. So if there are 100 people you're going to ask for a review, only 20 are giving you any which ways. So if you're asking only 10 or 20 people, then how many will give you actually the review? So the answer is that you need to ask that many people to get that many reviews. Okay, and how many times have we missed the opportunity to actually ask for reviews, right? And so remember this thing, that train your staff. Sometimes I incentivize my staff, okay, even if it's just like a coffee or a pizza party, that if this month we hit this many reviews, that we will do a party. So it's if you incentivize your staff, if you ask that many reviews, and if you give a wow experience, trust me, people will go and actually put the review. Okay, so that's what I said about reviews, right? Unless you've really irritated someone or given them a wow experience, trust me, they're not going to put a review. So if you give a mediocre service, then please don't expect that that person will be enticed to give you a review. So as I said, wow them enough that they give you the review. Okay, so this is a very common question. That's why I addressed it today. That how do you get more reviews? So just to recap, ask and you shall receive. Wow them to the level that they would be almost obliged to give you the review. And the third most important thing is to actually incentivize your staff to do the work for you, because you as a dentist, you can't sound so pushy by constantly asking for reviews. You can casually tell the patient maybe once, but then rest everything your front desk has to do, right? Coffee table culture book, I already explained. Now this is one of my mentors. If this comes from him, okay, and this is what I called as Chris Barrow puts it beautifully as this is the Mr. Crest, which is the mnemonic which is given by Chris Barrow. And so when the patient leaves your practice, this is the end of treatment protocol which you need to do, and that is out of this Mr. Crest. If you can even do 1 or 2, then you're good. And but this has to be with every patient who walks through your practice. Okay, so if you give them a membership, okay, so if you're having a membership clinic membership card, invite them for the membership. Okay, or you can give them 3 of your business cards or referral cards and tell them. And the way to ask that is that Mr. and Mrs. So and so, we really enjoyed having you at our practice, and we would love to have patients like you. If you know anybody, any of your friend or family who would benefit from our services, we will be very grateful if you could give them this referral or visiting card. And that's the way you ask for a referral. Okay. Another way is to ask them to check in your practice on Facebook or thing where where they actually write that so and so has checked into so and so place. Review I already mentioned. If you are doing email newsletters, then you take the email address and ask their permission if you can email them. Okay, because nobody likes spam, and you would be better off asking if they would want those kind of emails from you. And or in India, more than email, WhatsApp works. So what we do is we have a WhatsApp broadcast list and a WhatsApp group where when we ask them, would you be interested in further information about whatever we do, and if we have some campaigns running, would you want to be added to that group? And if they say yes, then we add them. Okay, so that's the thing. All these things are basically keeping in touch with these patients so that they are returning people and they refer their family and friends. Then of course a selfie with the patient. And if they are happy to share that, sometimes they do on their own, then that's good for your social media. And of course, testimonials can be in the form of a written testimonial or a video testimonial, or it could be even a simple selfie with something which the patient has told you, and then you ask the patient, can I quote you on this, right? So this is one of the important things. So just to recap the 6 things which I said, these are the 6 things. Okay, so if you're looking to really increase your patient numbers, trust me, if you follow these things very well, if you really do Google My Business really well, if you host events, if you wow the patients, if you have a good coffee table culture book, and if you're following the end of treatment protocol, which is given by Chris Barrow, for every single patient who walks through your door, trust me, you will see that your patients now start referring new patients. And of course, if you're doing all of the things which I spoke in this presentation. So now let's see a few things before about this personal branding, which I talk so much. Okay, so I'm all about organic marketing. I'm all about, I don't talk much about paid marketing because I have seen the results of organic. Okay, whether it's for my workshops or anything, I've never run any paid ads till date. And so I really believe that before you actually jump into paid marketing of course works, but paid marketing will not work unless you have your basics in place, and that's your brand, your storytelling, your website and everything, and your organic content. Okay, so once you have all that in place, then you can go into paid marketing. Okay, and then paid marketing of course will give you good result. But if you directly jump into paid marketing without using personal branding for social media, it won't give you, because what happens is when that paid traffic comes to your social media pages, they will not convert because they can't see any content which is connecting. Okay, so as I always say, that So let's see some examples of these cool brands. Okay, they are big brands, but they do have a lot of learning, which you can see. Okay, so look at the way the branding and the message has changed because of the COVID. Look at the logo of Starbucks. Look at the logo of how Coca-Cola has shown the social distancing. Okay, look at the way Nike has just changed the tagline, just do it at home. So these are creative ways of how these brands have, done. Look at the social distancing which McDonald's have come across, right? So how are we going to do this? You will start with the channel, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, or whichever channel, or even WhatsApp for that matter. Okay, start the channel which you are most comfortable with. Okay, polish your social channels with your full name and bio across this. Okay, and we do this real time in the programs, but I'll share some examples today so that you guys can start doing this straight away. Then start posting emotionally engaging stories. Always try to first grow your audience organically before venturing into any paid stuff, and look at the way you can do the content in different types. Okay, now when you are setting up your basic profiles on Facebook, so today I want you to go and check out your personal profile. Okay, not your business page, your personal profile, and see that if someone is coming on your personal profile, can they understand what you are about in the first 10 or 15 seconds. Okay, so the first 15 seconds someone comes on your profile, they should be understanding what you are about. Okay, so put your links, put your bio, put your pictures, okay, the featured pictures and all. So make sure that you're putting content which kind of signals people about what you are doing. Okay, I will come to all the questions in the end. So these are some of the examples which I have done to do this, what exactly I talk about. So storytelling with organic branding. Okay, now let's see some of the examples of visual storytelling. So now the picture on the left is actually of a patient who after doing the FMR case was so happy that she started singing on the chair. Okay, and so what we did was we actually managed to take a clip of that singing patient and we put it out, because that was her emotions and her way of showing the appreciation. So when you get such opportunities in your practice, make sure that you use them and you actually use that story on the correct platform so that you can amplify your word of mouth in the online world. Okay, now look at the picture on the left. This child had very funnily, okay, she had this habit of chewing the things, the dupatta and all of her mother, and removing these small things which are stuck on the dupatta and on the jewelry and all. So she used to chew this. Okay, she had this fetish for this. I don't know for what reason, but and when I did the stainless steel crown for her, and when I extracted that tooth, I realized that this thing came out from the extraction socket. Okay, and I was very amused. I asked the parent, how come this has come out? And then the parent told me that she loves chewing diamonds. That's what the parent said. And coincidentally, next day was Valentine's Day. And so then I made the story about this post, which is a little bit funny. But what I want to explain you here is that when you have these opportunities, you have these everyday opportunities, and you can easily use your creativity and your storytelling to point to things which you are doing. So indirectly, if you see, this post obviously shows that I know a lot of pedo, and this is a very, it was a funny post because I actually hinted my husband to give me a diamond through this post. Anyways, so to cut a long story short, what I'm trying to say is that when you put content, remember that the picture has to tell a story. So somebody looking at the picture should be curious enough to read the post and engage with it. Okay, that's what I mean when I say content. When I say content marketing with storytelling to do branding. Even the picture on the left, if you see, it has a story. Okay, so there are a lot of these examples. So I have two profiles on Facebook. One is my profile of the dentist and one is my coaching profile. And I'll show you examples of both where you can use everyday stories to actually connect with your audience so that you're able to put out your message. Okay, these are the few things which we have done. Now the picture in the center is actually a patient has actually gone, and she was so excited with what I gave her child that she actually made a post of it. So when somebody else will go on Facebook and actually write us something about you, that's obviously builds up far more credibility than you going and talking about your own self. So these are the ways in which now what happens is when this patient, obviously she was, she's a mom and she's very well connected. So when she has done this, obviously all her friends have seen the profile, and obviously then that puts me in front of these so many other new people. So that's how this organic word of mouth actually gets amplified in the online space if you do it correctly. Okay, Again, the story on the right is when we had gone for a staff picnic and an incident happened over there, and I made a story out of it. Okay, so these all things are there on my profile. You can check it out. Now, so now let's see, how do we actually put all this together? What's the strategy? So as I said, the whole thing has moved, okay, from the way we connected in the olden times to the way we are connecting now. So what we have to do is we need to obviously build our target audience. We need to understand what is it that we do differently, how is it that we do differently, and who is our target audience. You need to understand this. You need to do the SWOT analysis of your practice to start any kind of marketing. Then you need to understand how are you different from your competition. Okay, so what is the differentiator which sets you apart from your competition, using the blue ocean strategy? What is the blue ocean strategy? The blue ocean strategy is actually a way in which you will be able to um, niche yourself in such a way that you set up a new ocean for yourself. So there's a red ocean where there's a lot of competition, and the way to do that is, for example, if say a lot of people in your area are doing aesthetic dentistry, but then you differentiate yourself in the way you do the aesthetic dentistry. Maybe you are the only person who is doing who has a scanner and who's following a digital workflow, or then maybe you are somebody who is the only one who's having a CEREC machine in house, and you're giving same day crowns. So how are you going to actually get that differentiator? So you need to actually niche down on a particular service or a particular thing which you are good at, and then set yourself apart from your competition, and that's the way you brand yourself out from the crowd, basically. Okay, now understand what are the top 3 patient profiles, what are the different types of ideal patients who come to your practice, and what are the pain points of these people. Can you, through your content and storytelling and social media, can you pinpoint that pain point of that customer and explain them the benefits which you provide, or the solution to that pain point? That's what you need to put in your content. Okay, then you need to understand where these people are hanging around in the online and the offline world. Are they a part of senior citizen clubs? Are they a part of mommy clubs? Are they a part of corporate houses? Are they housewives, right? So all this will play a role into what is your content, how you're going to make the content, and at what time your content will go. So for housewives, they are free in the afternoon, so maybe then that's the time you should be posting. For corporates, if your crowd is corporate, then they are 9 to 5 workers. They will be free after 6 o'clock when they are coming back from home. So you need to analyze your target audience so that your content goes at the time when they're active. So a lot of your marketing efforts will be only successful if you understand who your target audience is and what exactly you want your content and your marketing to do. Which social platforms are active, where are they most active? All these questions you need to understand about your target audience, their age, gender, the location, all of this. Okay, also this information is very helpful if you're doing any kind of paid marketing. So suppose you have a paid marketing team. If you give them this correct information about your target audience, then you will be able to give them the correct information so that then they can do the targeting well. So all this is at the back end of Facebook. So Facebook will give you all these things where you can put in the age, gender, the marital status, all of this about your target audience, the people they like, the places they go, all of this. The more information you have, the more you'll be able to target your Facebook ads if you're doing paid marketing. Okay, so all of this, you can even track people according to the mobile devices they are using, according to the operating system they are using, according to the countries they are traveling, according to the things that they're buying. Okay, and this, of course, paid marketing and retargeting, Facebook ads and Google ads, they give you all of these options. However, the best marketing agency and the most amount of money you put in the paid marketing will not give you the result if you have not analyzed your target markets well. And that's why you need to do this work so that you get the result, whether you're doing any paid or unpaid marketing for that matter, right? So now what's the strategy? The strategy is that you don't try to go on all the channels at the same time. Try to focus on one channel. Okay, build your persona of your audience and build your target audience, and then start working backwards according to what is your strategy, what is your plan, and how you're going to achieve that. So then you plan your 90 days content, you batch the content, you make the content, and then obviously you schedule the content, and then you leverage online and offline both to get the word out, basically. Okay, so that's the strategy. So this is the way in which you target the ideal patient. And now this is the action plan. Okay, so what you exactly want to do once you have seen this presentation, probably if you're watching this live or recorded, once you have seen all this, when you actually sit and decide, okay, I want to do something for my marketing, how are you going to do it? What are the steps? Because it's very overwhelming if you want to do it on your own. So basically, just create a presence everywhere. First of all, even if you're not active on Instagram and LinkedIn, it's fine. Just make your presence everywhere. Create a practice YouTube channel. Make your presence on the Google My Business page. It's very simple. You need to actually go on Google My Business and claim your business listing. And once Google verifies your listing, you are up there basically. Then encourage reviews on Google and Facebook. You can start a blog if you do not already have a blog, and if you're blogging from your website, then that's best. Then if you want to go one up level, then you can create a MailChimp account and actually use the email marketing system of MailChimp or any other system there which you want to send monthly newsletters or information about campaigns that you're doing. And of course, then you decide your social media content strategy and plan. Okay, so these are the steps. If you want, you can take a picture of this particular slide. These are the things. Okay, now do not try to do all together, but go at one thing at a time and master that, and then go to the next. Okay, so for example, you want to work on your Google My Business. So for 15 days, just work on your Google My Business and make it really strong. Try to get maximum reviews, try to put maximum content out there, and then double down on that thing. Okay, if you have decided, okay, I want to start using say YouTube, then concentrate on one thing. Okay, because if you start doing everything, you will, trust me, you'll spread yourself very thin, and it's not going to give you any result. Okay, so of course, you need to review the strategy. You need to go into analytics and see what is working, what is not working, what kind of posts are doing well. What, you need to, every 90 days, you need to review what is happening, and then accordingly tweak your content. So any marketing works like that. You need to do maybe 3-4 things, and then you need to see what is working, and then double down on the thing that's working. That's how all marketing works. Okay, now when you're planning your budget of marketing, it has to be ideally not more than 5 to 7% of your gross annual income. That is the industry average, which most of the marketing coaches in the world have agreed to. Okay, so that you would want to have 5 to 7% of your gross annual income as your marketing budget. Also, as far as the medium is concerned, the tools themselves are concerned, these are some of the tools which are very useful. So Canva is my favorite tool as far as creating content is concerned. Then these are few apps which are very useful. So for images, you can go to Pixabay, Visual Hunt. If you want to check out video editing, then these are some of the apps. If you want to do a hashtag research, then these are the apps which really help you. If you want to schedule content, then Create a Studio, Later, Hootsuite, and all these are some of the things. Also, it is very difficult if you are if you're a hardcore clinician, you don't want to do all this, right? And I completely understand. And so then you would want to hire, maybe you want to train your in-house associate doctor or your staff to do this for you. And I do have a lot of people who will not come on the programs, but will send their associates and their staff to do this program so that they can create the content and they can, have an in-house marketing person. So that can be done. Also, you can hire freelancers who are available at a very fraction of a cost. So at $5, you will get anybody on Fiverr or Instatask, and they will do the work. So if you're not good at copywriting, or if you're not good at storytelling, if you're not good at designing, then by all means, just hire somebody who will help you out, right? And so almost I'm ending now. And before I actually go, I just want you to leave with one thought, okay? That if you ever heard of these companies like Kodak, okay, which was leading as far as cameras are concerned, okay? And I remember my first ever phone that I used in internship was Nokia, okay? And it was obviously not a touch phone, right? And if we do not Yahoo anything anymore, right? And so these brands, they became the pages of history. And if you see, the reason these brands became the pages of history is they did not adapt. Okay, so Kodak was very late to adapt to the digital cameras. Nokia was late to get the Android and the touch screen technology. And Yahoo at one time was only concentrating on Yahoo ads, and it lost its main purpose of being a search engine. And then obviously Google came and changed it. So the message that I want to leave you with is that you might be a practitioner watching this, maybe with 35, 40 years into the industry, maybe, of course, word of mouth, as I say, I talk about just amplifying your word of mouth. Word of mouth has been your strongest form of marketing, but we need to understand that the word of mouth is actually now the word of mouth. And if we do not adapt to the changing arena, in the way the communication is happening. And this COVID has taught us, right? COVID has given us very important lessons as far as a lot of things in life are concerned. And trust me, this is one of them. What was happening in the online space, over a period of time, COVID has actually pushed the fast track button and it's accelerated that. And so if you are somebody who's thinking this is not for me, trust me, you need to jump on that bandwagon and get on the online space, even if you are somebody who's not used to this. Okay, so I just want to leave you with this. And if you want to connect, this is the link to my Facebook group. You are most welcome. It's a free group. And do not go to this stage. Remember that your offline connections are very important. So if you have an opportunity to connect with someone offline, if you're traveling, if you're, even if you're in the lift, use that opportunity to connect to people rather than looking down on your screens. Okay, I want to leave you this with as well, because the power of offline is of course huge. Okay, it's just the way we are communicating. And this, if you still don't know what you're posting about, then you can send me a message and I'll help you. I'm available on all these channels. You can check out the website and my handles if you want to follow me on Instagram, and you can reach out. Okay, now there are few resources which are completely free and you can make use of this. And these are the resources which are sitting on my website. You can download the ebook, which is 6 strategies to get your new patients. How to increase your new patient numbers. There is also a target audience template which is sitting in the free resources of the website. And there is also how to set up your Google My Business. Also, there is another resource which is sitting in the free resources. They're absolutely free. They do not even require an email address to you for you to sign up. You can check it out. The ebook, of course, you need to sign up for that. And how to optimize your social media channels. And there is this workshop which I just did. Okay, and now it's available as a recorded one. So if you are interested, then do ping me, and the link to it is also on the website. And if you want me to share, I'll surely do that. So with that said, I'd like to end that every interaction in any form is actually branding. And thank you for staying till the end. Now I'm going to stop sharing the screen and just see if there are any questions. Thank you so much. I don't think there are any questions. Would anyone like to ask any questions?
Actually, there is actually, thank you, ma'am. It was an excellent session. Actually, there is a column there. They can just type the questions if they want.
Okay.
Doctor, there is one question: how ethical or how much the rules of the land allows to advertise in social media?
Sorry, I can't see the question. Can you just repeat it?
How ethical or how much the rules of the land allows to advertise on social media?
Okay, yeah, I saw the question now. Okay. Thank you. How ethical or how much there are rules of the land allows to add. So, okay, let's just get this. Okay. When I talk about organic, I'm not even talking about marketing. I'm just talking about storytelling. Okay. So it's not about advertising. I never spoke about any advertising on social media in the whole presentation. If you see, I'm only talking about how you're going to take whatever you're doing and put it in the online world. So we are actually just trying to authentically put what we are doing and show that in the online world. So whether a patient has told you something as something which happened during the treatment, you're just putting that testimonial on your handles. That's what we're trying to do through the content. So I think it's completely ethical because you're just telling your story and you're just authentically putting yourself out there. So yeah, that's the answer to the question.
Ma'am, I'm having a question. You are telling about broadcasting in WhatsApp group, like getting the patient's number and broadcasting in the WhatsApp group.
No, I don't. So it's little misunderstood by you. First, when the patient leaves, when you do the end of the treatment protocol, you take permission from the patient whether he would be interested, and you first make sure that he's interested, and you send that from your clinic WhatsApp number. You send them a WhatsApp message, and then if they are agreeing to that kind of communication, only will you broadcast the message. You're not going to take messages. You're not going to broadcast messages to strangers. By just spamming them. That's not what I mean.
I understood, ma'am. That is the same thing which I meant. But in the broadcast, there is a problem. Only if they have our number saved in their mobile, then only we can broadcast.
Absolutely. That's why I said absolutely. And I have seen that personally as well. Absolutely. So when you send a broadcast message, you will not get double ticks. Okay. You will only get a single tick. you will only get a double tick, as in like only the message will be delivered if that person has agreed to interact with you. So that's why you need to first make sure that they actively want to interact with you. That's when it will work for you. Okay, and that is a WhatsApp way of actually preventing spammers to actually get into your WhatsApp. So yes, I agree with you that it will not directly go unless that person has interacted with your clinic WhatsApp number. So when they leave, you actually tell them that we are adding you, and you add them, and then it will go. Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Thank
ma'am,
you,
understood.
Dr. Vinu. Yeah.
I think no more questions.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Sunil sir, shall we conclude then?
Thank you, ma'am. It was a one. Deepak, you can.
Sure. Thank you so much. If anybody is interested in any further information, please reach out on the number. And if you want, I can put the link, but I don't think so. You can reach it out. Thank you.
Sunil sir?
1 second, ma'am. 1 second. Yeah.
Actually, there is some problem with audibility, sir.
You can.
No, doctor, we can hear you.
Okay, okay. So on behalf of Idea Smart City, I would like to thank Dr. Anisa. It was a great session. Last 1.5 hours, it went like 10 minutes actually, because a lot of things were conveyed, and most of us in the Smart City branch, and also those who are attending people having private practice. So this is something which is going to be beneficial for all of us to build up our practice and have more patients. So hopefully we are going to implement all these things into our practice, and we will have a good time later. So thanks a lot, ma'am, once again, and also thanking MedPiper Technology and also the people who have attended this program. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And if anybody wants to follow me, you can just, no, I think I can't. You want me to? No, it's okay. So, okay, you can just look out for Anisa Social Dentist on Instagram or Facebook, and you can follow me. So, I mean, it's pretty much, I'm pretty much there, and I'll be happy to connect. And thank you so much. Thanks so much. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, doctor.
Yeah. I can end the presentation, right? Yeah.
Yes, doctor. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Deepak. Thank you, Dr. Sunil, and thank you the entire IDA Smart City branch for having me over. It was an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.